Hello all you Pixel people, I am Pixel and welcome to Project Spark. This is the first in a new series of videos where I'm basically going to try and teach you guys how to use the create functionality of Project Spark and basically make some really cool user generated content. I reckon we can make some awesome stuff using some really basic steps, which I'm going to attempt to give to you guys today. We're going to start off really basic by looking at how to create with the brush tool and actually build up a world, and we'll look at the world settings and stuff like that. If you don't know what Project Spark is, I do recommend just searching for Project Spark. I think Yogscast Dave Chaos has got an awesome introduction video about what actually Project Spark is. But right now, we're not going to waste no time. We're going to go straight to create world because this could take a little bit of time, and we are going to start off with an empty world. And the idea of Project Spark, for anybody who doesn't know, is it's a game engine tool thingy majiggy where you basically build your own games. There's lots of easy functionality such as tutorial modes built into the actual game itself, and there are lots of like create a game wizards where you don't have to do anything hardly, it'll just create the game for you. But if you want to create something really original, you obviously need to make it from scratch. And what we're going to start off with now is, look at our character. He's our guy. So I'm going to tell you how to, just basically we'll start off with the controls of how to move around the editing window. So you start off, you've got W, A, S and D controls to move around. Simple, right? If you press E, you go up, or Q, you go down. So we got the elevator functionality. And then if you right click, you can rotate. And now this is something that you need to bear in mind, that where your mouse is currently, where your cursor is, or your brush tool, that is what you're going to rotate around. And the reason why this is important, because if you're up close and you want to like move around your character, but you do it when you've clicked over at the sun, you go, whoa! Yeah, then you get yourself lost. But this little icon here, can you see my cursor? This will center on player, and then you can just use the mouse wheel to scroll in and out, because W, A, S and D keeps you on a flat plane. I think they are the basics of actually moving around the world. So we've got it all. We can rotate back, forth, down, up, zoom, zoom out. Sorted, right? There, okay. So what we're going to start off with is we're going to look at all these tools which are on the far left hand of the screen. And we're going to start off with the most basic, which is the Sculpt and Expand. So this is what you're going to use most of the time when creating your own worlds, apart from the painting tools, obviously. And what we're going to start off with is Expand. I'm just going to show you a really basic example of each of these tools straight off. So to expand, we've got our controls of how big we want the area to expand. And intensity is how much and how fast we want it to expand. So on maximum speed and maximum intensity, you just do that and you've created a thing. You can also control Z, just like you can do in Photoshop or Word, to undo your last action, which is pretty cool. You can actually undo more than your last action, which makes things very helpful. So we're going to build a very basic hill, because I want this to actually be practical. I don't want it just to be a simple demonstration. I want it to be, look, we can actually create something, because that's what a creation game is all about. So if we underneath the character will rise on whatever we create. So we've created a little bit of a hill, and what we're going to do is we're going to build a little bit of a, like a canyon around him maybe. I think that's a cool idea. It'll give us the opportunity to use most of the other brushes. So build up like this. As you can see, if you expand too far, you can actually this is a good example to actually show you. Just build up something up tall like this. So we've built this hill. You can actually expand outwards, and you can see you've got the massive underhang there. So you need to be careful that you don't do that by accident when you don't want to. So lowering your intensity makes this a lot easier, but obviously in the interest of speed, we're going to do what we can as fast as we can. So we've built a very basic canyon around our character, and as you can see, we've built an overhang by accident. We're going to create an overhang on purpose in a moment, but okay, so our character's here. And what we want to do is, next we're going to look at the Sculpt tool, so the Erode tool. So where it says Sculpt Expand on this orange box, click it again and it turns to Erode. Now Erode is basically the same as Expand except the total opposite. If that, oh my days, the way I explain stuff is so bad. So we can erode around our player. And the reason why this is useful is if you want to build caves or outcrops. And we're going to just expand this out again. I'm actually liking how that looks. So we've got basically a semi-cave looking structure here. I mean, how far back can we go? Can we go back further? Let's just erode a little bit further. Okay. We'll use this a little bit more just so you get the idea. What we'll do is we'll erode a little pit here. Straight down towards water level. Below water. So there's a bit of a drink there. Now what you can see is like where we've edited this, we're getting some really kind of sharp, jaggy edges, which is cool if you're looking for a rock kind of formation. But if you're looking more for, I don't know, a smooth kind of fall off of land, the way grass and soil settles, then what you want to do is you want to click on this little arrow next to the box that we've been using so far, and it'll open up with more tools. We've got add, subtract, roughen/smooth, tunnel/plateau. We're going to start off with the smooth. So basically click it between roughen and smooth. It says up here, smooth. We go on this, and it is as basic as you've still got the same size brush tool options and the intensity of how much you want to smooth it by. And there you go. We've smoothed this off. Is there anything else that needs smoothing around here? This looks quite rough, doesn't it? So if we just quickly, we've got it on max intensity, so we need to work quickly, otherwise we're going to go too far. Or you can play it safe, and you can lower the intensity to really low like this, and it'll take a long time to do it. But because we're in a rush, I'm going to raise it up higher, and okay, so we've smoothed that off a little bit. Maybe a little bit too much. What we're going to do just for effect is quickly smooth over everything, and I mean quickly, because we don't want it to take too long now, do we, guys? Like I said, don't forget what I said. You rotate where your cursor is. So you want to rotate here, rotate there. I want to rotate around this. Okay. So we've smoothed this off now. Let's roughen a little bit just to show you what the roughen tool does. I don't like this tool personally. I don't find it that useful, but we'll do it anyway. So let's roughen this, and we need to lower this down because it roughens really quickly. See, that's why I don't like it. It kind of goes all mangled, and then you can always smooth it off again. Just takes a little bit of time. But yeah, that is the roughen tool. Let's smooth this off again. Alright, we got this. Yeah, it's looking quite smooth. Next, we're going to look at the plateau/tunnel. So with the plateau, what we're going to do is, yep, just make sure I had the right thing selected. We're going to lower this quite a bit. I'm going to turn the intensity down. And now where should we build the plateau? Okay, I'm thinking about what we're going to actually do here. So I'm thinking we build a plateau here. And as you can see, it's just building a flat platform from what we already had. I'll carry on. I'll just, oops, I messed up something then, didn't I? So you might be thinking, why would you want something which looks like that? Well, it's just a base, guys. It is just a base, and what we're going to do to show that is work on it. So we're going to go back to the expand tool, the original tool that we started using, intensity to 100, and we're going to use a nice small spot. And then let's try and, this is going to be difficult. We're going to try using your camera controls to get right underneath. And then maybe we can build something crazy. And what else we're going to do is, if we can get down to this bit a bit, up again. lower the intensity. We don't want it to be flat. It wouldn't be like that in real life. We want it to slowly blend in, which is important here, really. And all the way up, we need to... It looks odd right now, but honestly, it'll look great. It will look perfect. Go up a little bit on these edges. So, as you can see, I'm just painting around this, because I want it to be like a little bit of a valley on the inside. Make it more realistic. And as you can see, we've built an odd little plateau. Now, this might seem a little odd, but what we're going to do next is look at the biome function. We're not going to look at the whole biome function because... actually, I'll show you the tunnel thing. Almost got a tunnel. Tunnel. Plateau. Then click on the box again. We've got tunnel. And where do we want the tunnel? We'll have the tunnel through this side here. It does stick a little bit, this tunnel tool, because it looks for flat objects on the ground. So if you move around a bit too much, it does mess up a little bit. So we're going to make this a little bit bigger. We want it to be a decent sized tunnel. And then what we do is, I'm going to do this vertically. You can do it any way you like, because we're making it on the flat. It gets a little bit more complicated. You want to do it on a little bit of tiers, but we're going to start here. And we're going to jaggy our way through. We should have done a bit more, wait. So let's try that again. And then what have we created? We created a nice little tunnel going through here. And to use the biome function, what we're going to do first is a lot of people start off with the nature biome. What we're going to do is pull out the arrow and go to river, because this could give us something really cool. I haven't tried this before, so it might not work perfectly. I'm just playing it by ear, kind of. So what we're going to do is start off with the river here. And we're going to pull it through here. So it's like a tunnel. It's gone underneath. And what we're going to do for effect, I don't know if this is going to work. We're going to go around this peak that we created. And merge it up here. It's important with a river that it isn't always the same width. It does look really odd, so you don't have to be too perfect. Just try and mix it up a little bit. You don't want dodgy edges. Normally a river obviously would be wider at the estuary, so try and take that into consideration, guys. Always try and take into consideration what it would be like in real life, because even though it's not realistic look in the game, it makes a difference to perception of an object. So we've created this here. I think we could go a little bit further, right? Let's risk this. Okay, so let's widen this off. Okay. See, we're making progress. So that's how the biome function works. And when we're using the normal nature biome, we'll largen this up a little bit, because we're going to just stick this around the outside because it's not that important to us. What this is doing is it's creating wildlife. It's adding all the... Sorry, I just thought someone was at the door. It's adding all the trees and the actual wildlife itself in one big go, which is kind of helpful. So again, we just wrap it around the buildings, well, around the structure that we created. All the way around. And see, we're starting to create something which looks kind of cool. Now, what we're going to do next is individual painting. So this is for the paint tool, which is the second box down, and we got the same options again. We can scale and intensity, and you've got these at the bottom here, and we've got some more if you click up to bring up these, but you can pay for certain ones, and there's certain ones which are free, which is kind of cool. And what we're going to start off, we're going to use Woodlands Path a lot. It's my favorite when it comes down to all of the different brushes. shrink this down drastically. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint always leave grass near the edges. You'll be surprised how often you'll find that in real life. Grass loves edges. And we're going to paint this whole structure here the same. Now this is where you need to be a little bit more careful. You don't want to completely start overriding everything else you've done, otherwise you'll end up with these weird kind of blurry edges. But in general it works really quite well. So we want most of this island here to actually be this, because there's no sunlight most of the day because it's covered up. It's the kind of thing that you want to be thinking about. Near the water there'd obviously be more. We can follow this through to here, all the way down to the bottom. Anything which isn't painted so far isn't that important. And then what we're going to do for this is we're going to go back to the basic grass. And just finish this off, and then underneath here, same kind of thing. And now this is why I'm not being too careful, because we want a bit of grass around this edge still. So I don't mind if it goes a little bit over. And there we go. We're not going to paint the whole map, I don't think. This is going to take a bit too long. But as you can see, we're already creating something which looks kind of interesting, and I don't know, I like it. How long are we into the video? We're in 17 minutes. I don't think I recorded for the whole 17. I just want it to be around 20 minutes. I don't want to go too deep. Let's increase the intensity a little bit then, so we can just rush paint it. I want to show you what it's like. Okay, so we're just going to paint all this. We're going to change some of it as well in a moment. This is just the first initial brush. Did we get everything in here? You need to be careful when you're going fast, because you don't want to override. Keep hearing noises. You don't want to override everything that you've been doing so far. Okay. I think that's mostly done. We'll quickly check. Where's that tunnel gone? Did it get underneath here? Yeah, it got underneath there. What about underneath this one? Ah, it's a little bit faded. Oops. That left click thing annoys me so badly. I'll lose my position completely. Okay. There we go. And then what you want to do is stuff like this, because obviously it's where we started painting the path. The path has got to lead somewhere, or you need to fade it out slowly. This kind of black, like, bold line to define it doesn't look good at all. So we need to lower down the intensity. We need to bring down the scale down again. And we're just going to quickly paint around like this. Right, let's say that stays green, maybe. We'll lower this size again, and then just quickly brush through and away. I'll try and get around these trees. And we don't want to paint it all, so we just, that can fade out there. It makes sense, kind of. We can add just a tiny little scratch of it here. Just it looks like it's been walked at some point. And then round here we can slowly brush. So we're going to pretend that people have been walking down this path and it's been slowly fading out. So can people climb up this, do you reckon? I think they can. So people have been walking around this edge. And then we had the other tunnel, so we need to pull this tunnel through here. And we do this by just carefully clicking everywhere. We need to go around the tree. Leave a bit of grass out of the tree so it looks like it's a little bit more real. And I think this is our basic level complete. So let's test it and see what we created. This is our little river. Our little undercove, which we did with the subtract tool. We can swim currently. We're going to change that. These rocks are floating because I deleted a little bit afterwards, so we'd have to go into there and get them away individually. I haven't smoothed off any land so I can climb back up, I don't think. So I don't think I can get out of this water now because of the way that I designed it. But that's easily fixed just by the smooth tool, which I will show you. So we'll edit from here. So as you can see, we've got this big ledges where everything is. What we're going to do is go to where the expand is, click on, where is it, roughen, then move it to smoothed, and we just do this a little bit, and now a character could quite easily walk up this. Which we'll test actually. Test from here. So, oh, that's where I created it. And get out again. Like I said, this is not what we're creating for the sake of creating it. We are going to actually be making, hopefully, a horror game. So we're going to change up quite a lot of this. And I think we're going on a little bit long now, but I'll quickly spend the time to just go over the basics of the world tools, which are escape, world settings. We'll go to night. It's like the sky gets changed. You got your empty world, morning, day, evening, night. Visual filter. You can have black and white, saturated, antique, and desaturated. That is what we want. And for now, we're going to increase the brightness a little bit because it's very difficult to. Sorry about that. It's very difficult to edit in pitch black, so we're going to keep the brightness quite high. And we get to move where the sun is, so what looks better? Obviously, like, for a scary game, you want darkness, but look at where the shadows are being cast. And actually, when you get used to creating these worlds, you actually start to consider where the light's being cast before you even develop your map. And then sun angle, so we can have it, like, long shadows, or we can have it vertical almost, I suppose. So let's, I think, quite long shadows. Bang! Test it again. It's starting to get a little bit more creepy. Obviously, we've brightened it up a little bit so it doesn't look perfect. But oops. Just let me out. But as you can see, it is working quite well. The paths that we created are working quite well as well. They actually look like paths, which you can follow and see our hole that we created, and we can climb up the hill and see everything. So yeah, this is just a basic tutorial on how to use the basic editing tools and change the world settings. In the next episode, we're going to look at changing to a first-person camera and changing your movement speed and everything like that using the brain functionality so that you can actually create a game which feels a little bit slower and a little bit more intense. So anyway, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to slap that subscribe button for some more PC gaming goodness. And as always, like the video if you like the video. I am Pixel. I'll catch you next time. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.